How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be talking about your 12-month marketing plan. Now, I'm going to be going through all the steps on day one and going through them and ensuring that you understand the lingo and how to actually answer these for your own core business. Now, the good news is that even though the lingo can seem like it's out there or specialized in marketing, it's actually quite simple, all right? And your approach to marketing is generally broken up into two different categories. Let's just call it that. You have your PPC, which is your pay per click, aka advertising on Google or YouTube. Then you have your organic approach, which is your Instagram followers and your YouTube followers and stuff like that. The following that you guys have that view your brand or your product or your service that you're not actually paying for directly, right? So obviously you are spending a lot of time building out that audience. It's not easy, it takes resources, but you're not directly paying Google to put your ad out there or to put your YouTube video out there. You're have a following that already is there to view it. Okay, so let's jump into some of these questions. Now, the good news is the first two questions are already taken care of from our profit and loss. Okay, but then you hit the third question, which is what's your target cost per lead or sale. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll jump on to the whiteboard and I'll give you a quick simple rundown of what that entails. Let's imagine if we go back to the wedding photographer that we have a product for €1,000, €1,000, okay? And this photographer knows that he spends roughly 20% or €200 in this case on expenditure per service provided for editing and other things, right? So let's just say expense, let's say abbreviate that and we'll say 200. You're going to have to work with my very bad handwriting. But so now we know that we have a net profit of €800. Okay. And what that question is asking you is what is your target cost per lead and sale? Now, this expenditure, generally speaking, for most people, won't account for the amount of work you have to put in. All right. So if we go through an example of that and we're trying to think of what is the target cost on my marketing spend that I need, that I can sufficiently generate a profit from, a good profit, a good return on investment. So that's what that question is asking you is what is the kind of minimum return on investment that you need? So let's break that down a little bit into the two categories. One is sales and one is lead. Now, before we start, a lead is simply somebody who is interested in your product or service. They emailed you, they filled out a form, or they called you. All right. So it's just somebody that is inquiring about your product or service. They haven't paid you yet, but they're interested. They're on the hook, let's say. Okay. Whereas a sale is somebody that's bought it. So we know we have a net profit of 800. Now, to find this person that bought the wedding package, more than likely one of the best approaches is to put marketing out, to put your marketing PPC out there. Okay, so Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, etc., etc. What that question is asking you once again is what is the maximum amount you can spend per lead and per sale and still be profitable. All right, so technically speaking, I mean, you could spend €799 on Facebook ads to get one sale and still be profitable of €1, right? And now let's be honest, it's probably not the best return on investment, but technically speaking, that's a true statement. However, we know that it's going to take us 2-3 working days to create to go over to the wedding and shoot it, etc., etc. So €799 per sale is not very economical or profitable for us. But maybe we can get away with spending €400 per sale. All right, so that's an important figure to have per sale. Okay, so that's what we can spend on Facebook ads. Okay, and if one sale has come out of that marketing campaign, we're still at a net profit or we're at the return on investment where we want to be. All right, more importantly. So that's your cost per sale. That's how you would calculate that. And then to calculate your cost per lead, it's actually even easier than that. So, like I said, a lead is somebody who is interested in your product or service, but has not paid you yet. They're inquiring about it. Let's say that you believe, or you have historical data to prove, that 1 in 4 people, okay, so you have a 4% conversion rate, 1 in 4 leads buy your product in the end. All right, so we know that all we have to do is divide this number by this number to get our maximum cost per lead. All right, and that would be €100 in this sense per lead. Okay, if this number was 1 and 2, you had a very attractive service, or the service was a low buying point, so people just converted better. Like for example, if you're selling something for €10,000, you probably have a higher conversion. You probably have a higher rate here, right? Because it's a bigger purchase, so it's a little bit more difficult for people to actually buy into that. All right. Um, so that's something that every business is going to be a little bit different to, but this little formula here is a great way to get that number in that column and have a very confident idea. Okay, this is what I can spend, and if I spend this on Facebook ads and a sale comes out, I'm in the money. I'm doing good. All is happy. There's one more little thing that we should be thinking about, which is the lifetime value per person. All right, so lifetime value. Now, what's interesting about this metric? All right, now you're really gonna have to forgive my handwriting here, but is that a lot of companies, especially startups, they actually lose money on their marketing spend. So, for example, they may spend €100 per person that comes onto their platform, but they only sell a 10-month monthly package, right? So they spend €100 per person, let's imagine, per sale, but that sale only brings in €10 a month. But they know that on average, people stay on their platform for 1 year, or they know that on average, 50% of people upgrade to a €50 package, let's say. So they can actually lose money on their initial investment because they know that when you account for time, that over time, that money will come in, kind of way. So maybe you have a service that only is used once, okay, but you might also have a service that's recurring, all right? So you're constantly getting value out of that customer. And if that is true, then perhaps that target cost per lead, cost per sale doesn't always have to be in the positive, have a positive return on investment as we shown before, right? It could have a negative return on investment, but you know that over time that your business will profit from that customer, okay? Even when you subtract the expenses and you subtract the amount of marketing that you've spent on that person, okay? So that's how you calculate that. I hope that makes a lot of sense. And if we jump down to your business, these are just some simple questions to get the cogs thinking about, all right, what my core business is, how am I going to stand out, what do we stand for, what our values are. Simple stuff, but it's a great exercise for you guys to think about and write down and put it on ink and paper so that you can show it to other people, get some feedback, and really start to hone out the core values of your business and the core values of your brand. Then you'll probably come down to section 29 and ask yourself, what is a lead capture? Well, it's actually quite simple. It's simply an offer to people to enhance or to entice them to fill in their information on a form on your website, or to give you a call, or to buy your product or service, right? So, for example, if you're a wedding photographer, somebody comes to your website, somebody lands on your social media, what have you. What are you going to tell them that's going to inspire them to fill in their information and take that first step to become a lead, right? And that could be for, in the context of a photographer doing wedding shoots, that if you sign up now, you will get a full wedding brochure with all your pictures in a very nice wedding catalog, and you'll get 3 framed images for free, for example. Okay, so that's a call to action that hopefully will inspire people to take the next step and give you their contact details so you can put them into the lead funnel and convert them to a paying customer. So that's what you want to think about. What can I offer people, or what can I do to incentivize them to give information to me? And it could be as simple as sign up now and get a free month or anything like that. Okay, so coming down to the next one is, what are likely to be customers' keys objections to claiming this CTA? So what's important is you have to think about, okay, so I've given them something that they can, that will inspire them to give me their information. But what might they be thinking that will prohibit them from doing that? So one example could be for subscription plans. People don't like signing up for prescription plans because they forget to cancel and stuff like that. So perhaps if that was the case, if you believe that was the case, you could write in there and say, we don't ask for credit card. You will not be billed automatically unless you want to be. All right. So that could be, you thinking about what their thoughts would be, what their objections would be when they're on your website and they're looking at your CTA, and ways to counteract that. Okay. So that's that. When maybe one for the wedding photographer might be that, do I get my deposit back if you ask for deposit or something like that? You know what I mean? So if you guys cancel, you get your deposit back. It's a refundable deposit, etc., etc. So that might be a great way for you guys to think about. Okay, what are my customers thinking? What are their what are their concerns? How do I address them concerns? You put that in there, and we can fly away. So you now your target audience is very important. And if you were doing the audience on Facebook, as I said, to get that kind of target market, how big your target market is, you probably already have a couple of these fields already thought of and answered. Okay, and what's really important here, which I see many people make a common mistake, is leaving your target audience too broad. Okay, so you might sell cookies or do wedding photographers, but not every wedding is going to be one that is suitable for your business. So you should be picking out a niche, okay, that you're very specific at and you're very specialized in, right? So when people come to you, you have when that target market comes to you, you have their exact needs and wants thought of already, and you can provide to them a core service that is completely for them. Okay, so that's one thing to think about as well. Is my target market too broad? Okay, if you have millions of customers around the world, maybe it's too broad. All right, if it's just male between the ages of 18 and 45 and their income is medium, low, or high, maybe that's too broad. Okay, and if you could even come back to the cookie analogy, and you're probably thinking, all right, well, everyone likes cookies, right? How are you going to figure out your target audience for a cookie dispensary or cookery shop? Well, maybe it's cookies to go, right? Maybe it's a cheap cookie, so it's quantity and it's for students, right? Maybe it's for people that want to sit down and really have a great experience when cookies look amazing, and it's for a higher end people that want to, business environment, or there could be so many different things. But the point is to think about your audience and be very specific on what little niche you want to target. Okay. So we come down here, now it's accessing tools. One important thing. Now at this stage, you may not have made your website, but it's very important to have access to these tools. All right. And we're going to go through them one by one. So Google Search Console is simply a way for you to tell Google what your pages on your website are and which ones you want to have indexed. So what I mean by that is, if we go into Google, there's a little trick you can do. Let's spell that wrong. Okay, if you type in site and then you type in whatever site you want, okay, these are going to give all the pages that Google has found on that domain. Okay, and these are the ones you want to tell Google, okay, I want you to list this page, I want you to list this page, I want you to list this page. For example, business archives, you probably don't want to list that unless you have a lot of different articles that you want people to go to a specific, business archives part of your website. So that's what Search Console is, Google Search Console, should I say. And here you would submit your sitemap so that Google knows exactly what pages you want to have indexed, right? It's very important to have access to that tool. Okay. Second one would be Google Analytics. Okay, which is probably one you guys have already heard of. It gives you full information on when people are coming from, and what channels they're coming from, and it gives you full information on how well your website is performing in terms of Google tracking and stuff like that. The third one is setting up conversion tracking on Google Analytics. This is one that I see majority of people when they're setting up their business skip over. Google can tell us who has come to a website, where they come from, but Google can tell us what they have accomplished in terms of goals that we set out, unless we tell Google what goals we want to have in place. So take, for example, if we have AutoJob, which is a startup Cryt that I has created and launched last week, we can say that we want people to log in. Okay, so if we come in over here and we go to the old Google tags, quickly show you the tracking. So goals over here, okay? So goals for you guys could be signups, registers, and they spent enough time on a page. Oh, this is the wrong one. Bear with me a second. Yeah, so goals could be they looked at your pricing page, they spent a considerable amount of time on your About Us page, they filled in a form, they contacted you. These are what goals are, right? And each goal can be set a certain amount of value. So, for example, if they sign up for your form, okay, and that goal is achieved on Google Analytics, Google come back to you, if we go back to my thing, and they can say, all right, so 4 people signed up as a lead. All right, so 4 people signed up as a lead, so you got 4 lead goals, and you know that your leads conversion tracking to or conversions to paying customers is 1 in 4. Okay, and you know that every time you convert one of these guys, it's €1,000. So that means you have a value per lead of €250. So you would put that into Google Analytics and you would say, right, every time someone fills in this form, I know that out of 4 of them, one will pay €1,000. So each one is worth €250. And that way you can have the return on investment on your marketing spend automatically tell you where you're doing well with what campaigns are not doing well. Very important. Okay. Setting up the Google tracking is something that we're going to go through in a later course. It's quite simple and it's quite intuitive, but it's something that I see people skip over an awful lot amount. So let's see if we jump back on to the 12-month marketing plan. And obviously having a login detail for your website CMS is incredibly important. So this should get you started on thinking about, all right, do I have my target market properly thought out? Do I have the, marketing spend on the financial side set out? And with that, you'll have a great understanding of what you can do with PPC and where you can put all your effort into your organic marketing to really find that key audience you're trying to target for and hit them revenue goals that you've set in your profit and loss. So I hope that was very informative. Like always, templates are below or in the education.cryt.ie. And on the next course, we're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts and the prioritizations of what you should be doing first once you've established this core understanding of your marketing approach. So we'll see you then and we'll chat soon.